What's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, it's a fun one. We're going to be looking at 5 draft targets for our Minnesota Vikings at pick number 24 for this year's upcoming NFL draft. And will this guy right here, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, finally have a good draft? We'll have to wait and see on that. But let me ask you guys this here first. What is the biggest position in need for the Minnesota Vikings? You guys let me know. Let your thoughts be heard down below in the comments section. For me personally, I'm going to go interior offensive line, but I do think the Vikings could target that big in free agency, so that's why my 5 draft targets, we actually only have 1 offensive lineman. But you guys let me know, what is your biggest position of need for the Minnesota Vikings heading into this offseason? Now, the number 1 draft target for the Minnesota Vikings, we're going to go to Boise State and talk about the running back, Ashton Jeanty. Now, this guy, he is a home run prospect, and I don't think he is on the level of guys like Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, when they were coming out of school, but I think he's in that tier below that, where he truly will be one of the best running backs in the National Football League if he gets put in the right position, and the man was the runner-up for the Heisman for a reason. A physical, a bruising running back. He has a great center of gravity, really tough to bring on the ground. That's why he went for over 2,600 yards on 374 carries, and he found the end zone 29 times, and his yards per carry were 7. A truly dominant season from Ashton Jeanty, carrying a mid-major team in Boise State to the college football playoff. But when he got to the college football playoff, everybody was freaking out. Can his game translate? And, the raw stats aren't great. 30 carries for 4 yards, 3.5 yards per clip. Definitely was not the same guy that we saw the whole season. But still, the eye test with him tells me he will be able to translate. Penn State, what was their game plan heading into that game? Take away Ashton Jeanty, and they did that for a big reason. But I think the Vikings, if you hit offensive line hard in free agency, then you have to go get a running back in the draft. Like if you're able to land a Trey Smith, a Drew Dahlman, and really shore up that offensive line, then you start looking at the draft, and you got Ashton Jeanty, you got Kaleb Johnson. There are a number of good running backs in this year's class. So for me, my ideal offseason plan for the Vikings, you hit offensive line, huge in free agency, then you go draft the running back, and then maybe, just maybe, the Vikings will fix their issues in terms of running the football, which have definitely been a big issue under Kevin O'Connell over the past couple of seasons. But let's kick it to an offensive lineman here. Let's talk about Tyler Booker. So Tyler Booker, Bama offensive guard, has been starting there for the last 3 seasons, and immediately when I saw Tyler Booker as a name I want to talk about, I was like, wait, I think he's familiar with J.J. McCarthy, and he actually is. J.J. McCarthy and Tyler Booker were teammates in high school when J.J. transferred to Nazareth Academy, my high school, to IMG his senior year, and he paired up with Tyler Booker there, and this was after the Rose Bowl game last season, college football semifinal. J.J. and Booker dapped each other up, showed each other some love, and he actually said, go get the next one or go win it all or something like that, pretty much just giving J.J. some love heading into the national championship game. But I'm sure J.J. would absolutely love the pick of Tyler Booker, and this guy's been a really, really solid starter for Alabama over the last couple of seasons. PFF grades on screen right now: 2022, 67.1, 2023, 72.5. Definitely had his better year in 2023, but this past season, go a little bit more in depth here. He's a great pass blocker. His PFF grade 86.5, and with the Vikings' struggles in pass protection on the interior of the offensive line, I think this would be a great pick. We'll still have to see where the Vikings, how they play this. Maybe they go give a running back big money in free agency, and then they target offensive line big in the NFL draft. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But Tyler Booker, if he's a player the Vikings are drafting at pick number 24, I would absolutely love that. But we got 3 more draft targets we'll get to in a second, but I need you guys to get down in the comments section and name a player that the Minnesota Vikings need to draft. Not a player that you want to draft, but a player that the Vikings need to draft. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Now we'll get the 3 more names here in a second, but first off, I want to give a massive shout out to one of my favorite sponsors here at Chat Sports, and that is Factor Meals. And if you guys head to factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off and plug in the promo code Vikings Chat 50 off. You guys will get 50% off your first box and plus free shipping. If you guys live a busy lifestyle like I do, I don't always feel like making a home-cooked meal every single night. And if you guys want to get a fast, easy option that is absolutely delicious, Factor has completely changed my life. You guys see on the left side of your screen right now, the teriyaki chicken. Delicious. I love cooking that up every single night. And if you guys are ready to optimize your nutrition this year, Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating it well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes so you can feel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. And you guys can lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto Meals. Based on a randomized controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto, results will vary depending on your diet and your exercise, but Factor has it covered. If you want easy, fully prepared, perfect meals for any busy and active lifestyle, Factor Meals is the #1 place to check out. So eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off and use promo code VikingsChat50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code VikingsChat50 off at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Check them out. I got that link for you guys in the comments section and description of today's show. But massive shout out to Factor for sponsoring today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. All right, let's kick it back to the running back position. How about a little Kaleb Johnson in your life? Running back out of Iowa who had a monster year. And this guy has flown up draft boards over the last couple of weeks for a big reason. I mean, this dude was a dog here at playing for the Hawkeyes over there in Iowa, but 240 carries, just over 1,500 yards, 21 touchdowns on the year. And for a guy that was the focal point of the offense, all teams are trying to take away Kaleb Johnson. This guy had a monster year, averaging 6.4 yards per carry on the ground. But I do want to go over some pros and cons, and I'm sure you guys will love this last pro I have listed for Kaleb Johnson. He's an ideal red zone running back. He's got great vision. He's got great patience, and he's got great toughness in his running style. He's sturdy, has a very muscular build to him, and he's got an explosive burst at the line of scrimmage. So what do I mean by that? If he sees a little crease, he is hitting it hard, he is putting his nose down, and he's a big, he's a big rushing yards over expected guy. Or let's just say a play, blocks that up, you're supposed to only get 1 yard on that. He will make sure he gets that extra 2 yards. That's where he excels. He is truly one of my favorite running backs in this year's class. If you're not able to get Jeanty, I would be all in on taking Johnson at pick number 24. But with pros, there's cons. One con I have, he's not like an elite athlete. I think he lacks a little bit of twitch. He's got just average top speed, and he's not a polished route runner by any means. But, you know, with how the Vikings offense runs here, you really need a guy who's going to get on that goal line, be that bulldozer running back, and I think Kaleb Johnson is it. I will be pushing the table. If he is on the board at pick number 24 and Ashton Jeanty, even if Jeanty is on the table at pick number 24, I would almost want to lean Kaleb Johnson over him. But let's kick it to the cornerback position, and if I had to say who is most likely to get drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, I'm going to go Benjamin Morrison. This dude's a stud. He is a badass in the secondary. He had a great year for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And this guy, even though he's not the most versatile player, here are his snap alignments from this past season: 4 at the defensive line, 22 in the slot, 272 at corner. So mainly just a true corner. But I do think he offers some versatility where Flores could be looking at this guy. Yeah, he played a lot of corner at Notre Dame, but I could put him in the slot. I could put him in the box. And especially if you do lose Harrison Smith, you're going to need more versatile players on the back end. But, you know, my take on Benjamin Morrison, and if I would want the Vikings to draft him, is, you know, just the simple one. I think Benjamin is my top draft prospect outside of any running back. I still want the Vikings to take advantage of a loaded RB class this upcoming year and head that direction. But if you don't, and you're trying to find a guy in the secondary, Benjamin Morrison is my guy for the Minnesota Vikings. And hopefully, you know, we've had good luck with drafting Notre Dame secondary players, and what a better fit to replace a guy like Harrison Smith than adding in another Golden Domer to this Vikings defense. But let's talk about another big fella. How about Tyleik Williams? He's a stud, man, on the Ohio State National Championship team. And actually, PFF had the Vikings being up their destination for Tyleik, saying the Vikings need youth and improved all-around play from the defensive interior this offseason, as the units played consistently graded below average against the run in 2024, and no one in that position group achieves a pass rush win rate over 10%. Tyleik Williams, lack of pass rush will likely push him down to Minnesota's range in the first round, but his elite play against the run would make him well worth the selection. He graded positively on an impressive 29.1% of all run plays in 2024 at Ohio State, which ranked 5th among all defensive interiors in the country. So this guy, he's a run stuffer at that interior defensive line, and the Vikings need that, man. I love Harrison Phillips. I love Jonathan Bullard. I love Jalen Redmond, but you just need more talent there. And the Vikings need more physicality at that group, and that's what Tyleik would offer you. You know, sometimes if you want to become a more physical football team, I think, one, the head coach could install maybe more of a physical culture. But again, that's a lot to ask. But if you want to be more physical, go get more physical players. Like, look at the Rams this past offseason. Fisk and Verse, both from Florida State. Physical guys. Now you're looking at the Rams front four and the Rams team as a whole as one of the more physical groups in the National Football League. So Tyleik, I would love him at pick number 24, but even more on him, PFF grades from the past 3 seasons. This past year, 79.4, 2023, 77.6, and 2022, he had an 80.9 overall grade. So those are 5 draft prospects for the Minnesota Vikings. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, give me a skull down below in the comment section. We'll get you guys out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching today's show. See you next time. As always, Skull Vikes.